the Streamlabs controversy.
Yeah.
So I have to confess that even as someone who sort of pays attention to the streaming and technology space, I assumed, which I see now I shouldn't have, I assumed that Streamlabs OBS, as it used to be called, was somehow associated with OBS. I knew that Streamlabs OBS is like junk and you shouldn't use it, so I'd never really gotten into, or not junk. What I had heard about it was that it's more basic. Like it's supposed to be streamlined as opposed to fully featured. So for my part, I was like, well, I think I can figure out how to use OBS. So I'm not going to use the Streamlabs OBS, but I could see how there's a value to something like this existing.
Sure.
But
Yeah.
I thought that they were just kind of like different streams of somehow associated projects, but that's not what it was.
No.
So what is the deal here?
They're essentially just trying to own the entire software space for streaming. As far as my understanding goes, they've been trying to do this for a long time. I have been frustrated with Streamlabs for a considerable amount of time because I don't remember because it's been genuinely a very long time.
Yeah.
But there was a service that I used to use that disappeared. And I don't know if they disappeared because they're like, not enough people are using us now because of Streamlabs, or if it's because they got like bought out or copied or what happened. But I know they disappeared, and I was frustrated because I didn't like the way that Streamlabs worked.
Right.
And I wanted to be able to use my old thing still. And there was some issue with that, but it's genuinely been like 6 years or something. So I don't remember the details, and I don't want to claim anything because it could be wrong. But yeah, and then there's Streamlabs OBS, which I have exclusively called slobs because I don't like Streamlabs and I find slobs to be really funny.
Okay, fair enough.
And then now this is coming out, and yeah, it's annoying, and a lot of their business practices for a long time have been very frustrating. It's not just OBS, it's a slew of other companies. Lightstream had a really, really interesting comparison that they showed, where one of Lightstream's like front page where they show off their features and stuff is practically, you probably have to click on the image for people to be able to see it, but it's practically identical to the page that Streamlabs put up, including the reviews.
Right.
Which is just like, what? Streamlabs said that apparently that was a test page for internal use that was not meant to be published, which is still like, dude, you shouldn't just copy paste things, including reviews, for like an internal test site. Just make your own thing.
Just use lorem ipsum like everybody else.
Yeah, like, come on.
Layers on your overlays automatically whenever you go live. Layers on your overlay. Wow.
It's like word for word. There's
That's
a few things you can
embarrassing.
find. Like there's a few ways that they say something that is exactly different every time throughout the whole webpage and stuff. Like, but it's quite egregious. It's gross. I don't know. Bad, not cool business practices. Copying, stealing, overwriting, stuff like that. So with Streamlabs OBS, one of the problems that I don't think ended up showing up in here is by having OBS in their name and then buying advertising space for the keyword of OBS for searching in Google. When people would search for OBS, let's see if it happens now after the controversy. No, it doesn't. But for a long time, or in the past, or whatever, however you want to say it, if you search OBS, it would come up with Streamlabs OBS.
Right.
Which is kind of bleh.
So, I mean, apparently I'm not the only one that was confused and thought there was some kind of association between the projects, but
that was like kind of the whole problem. Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, Streamlabs, OBS is open source.
Yeah.
So
technically someone else can utilize that code base.
They can utilize the code base. The name is a little...
The name is pretty freaking iffy.
Yeah.
So the controversy led OBS developers to share their own woes. When Streamlabs was developing, they were approached by Streamlabs about the use of OBS in their name. OBS declined, but Streamlabs went ahead and not only used the name, but filed a trademark too.
Very cool.
Which is a super dick move, as it's called in the industry. Prominent streamers like Hasanabi and Pokimane spoke out, saying that they would no longer use or be affiliated with Streamlabs if they didn't resolve the issue. Why do they use Streamlabs? Aren't they like professional streamers?
No, Streamlabs is like a lot of people use it.
They
Genuinely.
do?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't. I believe the alerts and stuff, the integrations of those things are like easier or something. I hate it. I don't know. I hate it because I'm not used to it, to be fair.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Floatplane chat, like, is there a reason to use Streamlabs?
If you're a new streamer, not everyone. I bet you Epos is watching and he's like, I don't, and I'm the streaming technician guy. But there's a lot of people online that will recommend you just go to Streamlabs because I believe it's kind of a one-stop shop. It gets everything going, blah, blah, blah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. It's convenience. Yeah.
I mean, I guess for my part, like a lot of the time I will just, I went Manjaro, right? Like a lot of the time I'll just be like,
we already used this and we don't use a lot of the alerts that normal streamers use.
Oh, I guess that's fair.
Like we made our own merch thing,
right?
Which like wouldn't work with it anyways.
Right. Okay.
So,
okay.
I mean, no, it works with slobs. I just don't think it would work with the Streamlabs alert system.
I just mean my general philosophy is if I'm gonna have to learn the hard one eventually anyway,
you just go.
I might as well just do it now. Like it's kind of it's like learning physics, right? Where every year you find out that everything you learned that last year was wrong.
Yeah. I could go into a few stories about that, but yes, that's absolutely true.
Like, what's the point, right? I might as well just go hard mode now.
Yeah, because you're learning how to learn. But yeah.
Exactly. So okay, yeah, fine. I guess professional streamers use Streamlabs OBS. Now the discussion point here is, I wonder how NCIX felt when you stole the tech tips. Stole nothing.
Yeah.
I stole nothing. Calling it Linus Tech Tips was actually the CEO of NCIX's idea, and I bought the Linus Tech Tips channel and trademark and domain. Okay? I paid a fair price of $1 Canadian. It's a Canadian dollar.
It's an extremely expensive channel.
Now, this is interesting. This is an interesting talking point. Streamlabs OBS has been out for almost 3 years now. Is OBS in the right for airing their dirty laundry now?
Well, apparently behind the scenes, they've been doing so for quite a long time. They did say no to using the name initially. And this happens a lot in modern society, actually, where there will be grievances kind of with quite a few people, and then one group or one person will stand up very loudly, and then all the other voices will join them.
Right.
So, I mean, it's fairly standard at this point.
So apparently it's been ongoing. Epos Vox has a good video on the subject, so you guys can go check that out. Check out...
I'm stunned that Epos Vox has a video on a streaming subject.
Really?
I'm absolutely stunned.
Yeah.
Can't believe it.
Thank you for that, Luke.